Imagine this for a moment. A quiet African village where the river is more than water. It is alive, powerful, and watching. A river the elders warned about for generations. Take nothing from it, they said. The river forgives, but it never forgets. But two teenage friends, bold, curious, and dangerously greedy, thought they were smarter than ancient wisdom. One dry Sunday morning, they crossed the boundary no one dared to touch. And when they reached the forbidden river, they didn't just break the rules. They stole its greatest treasure. What followed was not just strange. It was terrifying, beautiful, and unforgettable. Because the river didn't stay silent, it answered. And the price it demanded. No one in the village was prepared for it. If you love deep African folktales, mysteries, and stories that unravel like legends whispered around a fire, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can enjoy these powerful tales with you. Alright, let's dive into the river's secret. The morning sun over Udall always rose in a quiet, golden stretch, warming rooftops, lighting the dusty paths, and waking goats that bleated like gossiping aunties. But on this particular morning, something felt off. The wind was too still. Even the birds sounded unsure of themselves, calling softly as if afraid to disturb whatever slept beneath the river. Blinky, of course, didn't notice any of that. If trouble had legs, it would walk beside her every day, and she wouldn't even greet it. She would just smile and ask, "Where are we going today?" She rushed out of her mother's small mud house, feet slapping against the red earth. Her clay pot bounced against her hip. Sweat was already shining on her forehead, though the day was still young. There was no water in the house. None. And if her mother returned from church to find even one empty pot, the entire village would hear her shouting. So Blinky did what Blinky always did. She ran to her best friend. "Vero!" she screamed from the gate, breathless. "Vero, please come out. It is an emergency." Inside, Vero yawned, scratching her headscarf into place before stepping outside with sleepy eyes. "What is it now, Blinky? Did your mother send you again?" "No," Blinky whispered dramatically, pressing her hand to her chest like a dying actress. "It's worse. I forgot to fetch water yesterday." Vero's eyes widened. "On a Saturday? Blinky, do you want to greet the ancestors early? Your mother will skin you." "That's why I'm here," Blinky cried, grabbing Vero's arm. "Please follow me to the stream. Just 2 pots. I swear." Vero froze. "Today?" she asked quietly. "Yes." "But Blinky," her voice dropped into a whisper, "today is Sunday, the river's resting day." Silence held both of them for a moment. The type of silence that even the wind respects. Everyone in Udall knew the rule. No one goes to the stream on Sundays. Not to bathe. Not to drink. Not even to touch the water. The elders said the river was alive, and on its sacred day, it needed peace. Anyone who disturbed it paid with more than they expected. Blinky swallowed hard but pretended to be brave. "Please, Vero. Just today. If anyone asks, we'll say we were praying near the water." Vero stared at her friend's cracked lips, the dusty feet, the fear mixed with stubbornness. This wasn't a girl planning mischief. This was a girl desperate to avoid her mother's wrath. And sometimes, desperation wins. Vero sighed heavily. "You will be the death of me." But she went back inside, picked up her pot, and returned. "Let's go," she muttered. "Before I regret this." The two girls set off down the narrow path through the trees, the same path the elders warned them about every year. The air felt strange. Not dangerous. Just different. Like the forest knew they were coming. Halfway there, Vero paused. "Do you feel that?" she whispered. "Feel what?" Blinky asked. "The wind. It's blowing from the wrong direction." Blinky waved her hand. "Vero, please, not today. If the river wants to blow breeze backward, let it enjoy." But Vero's heart beat faster. The stories her mother told her as a child echoed in her mind. The river never forgets a trespass. Yet she followed her friend anyway, because sometimes loyalty blinds you more than fear. As they neared the riverbank, they expected to hear the usual gurgling rush of water. Instead, the river sounded quiet. Too quiet. Like it was listening. Blinky slowed her steps. "Vero," she whispered. "Are you sure we should?" Then she stopped. Because right in front of them, lying on the wet sand, was something neither of them had ever seen before. A fish. A huge one. Silver blue. Glowing softly, as if it carried moonlight inside its body. Its gills opened and closed weakly. Its tail twitched like it was calling for help. Vero stepped back immediately. "Blinky, let's go home. This is not ordinary." But Blinky didn't move. Because something else had appeared inside her chest. A spark. Not fear. Not pity. But a quiet, hungry kind of curiosity. And with curiosity came greed. The glowing fish shifted slightly, its scales shimmering like drops of moonlight trapped underwater. Even the air around it felt cold, almost sacred. Vero's breath caught in her throat. "Be Blinky. We should not be here," she whispered. "This is a sign. A very big sign." But Blinky's eyes were pinned to the creature, round with amazement. This fish is beautiful. Vero, have you ever seen anything like this?" "No," Vero hissed, backing away. "And that's exactly why we must leave. Ordinary fish do not glow. And they definitely don't sleep on river sand on a Sunday." Her voice trembled slightly. Something deep in her spirit, something older than her, older than the village, was warning her to turn back. But Blinky took a slow step forward. "Maybe it's hurt," she said softly. "Maybe it needs help. Maybe it needs to be left alone." Vero whispered sharply. "The river's resting today. What if this is a test? Or a trap? What if?" Before she could finish, the fish lifted its head. Both girls froze. Because what happened next did not belong in the world they understood. The fish spoke. Its voice wasn't loud or thunderous. It was soft, echoing, layered, like a whisper carried by the river itself. "Do not take me," it said. "I belong to the water. Return me, and I will repay your kindness." Vero screamed. Blinky stumbled backward. The fish blinked once, long, slow, glowing, and added, "Every 7 days. I will give you whatever your heart desires." The world fell silent. Even the trees seemed to lean closer. Vero covered her mouth with both hands. "Blinky, we have to run. Now. This is not normal. This is not even close to normal." But Blinky froze completely. "Every 7 days," she whispered. "Anything we want." The fish's eyes glimmered in response. Not yes, not no, just a knowing silver glow. Vero grabbed Blinky's arm. "Listen to me. My mother told me stories about spirits that disguise themselves as animals. They reward you first, then destroy you later. Let's leave it alone." But Blinky's mind was already somewhere else. Visions flashed behind her eyes, her mother smiling with gold jewelry, food that tasted like the city, clothes she had only seen on passing travelers. A life without shouting, without chores, without hunger. "Vero," she said slowly, "maybe this is our chance." "Our chance for what?" "To die." Vero snapped. "No," Blinky whispered. "To live better than everyone else in Udall." Vero felt her stomach twist. This wasn't curiosity anymore. This was greed, sharp, bright, and dangerous. But Blinky didn't even notice the fear on her friend's face. She bent down on one knee, staring at the glowing fish. "If you're truly powerful," she said, "give me something. Something small. Something to prove it." "Blinky." Vero gasped, but she was too late. The fish lifted its head weakly. The river water beside it rippled, shimmered, then pooled into a bright golden color. And right there, in front of their eyes, something materialized on the sand. Gold bangles. Real ones. Shining. Heavy. Blinky screamed. She grabbed the jewelry, gasping. Vero. It's real. Feel it. This is real gold. Vero stared, shaking. No, 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 this is wrong. Wealth that comes from spirits never ends well. But Blinky only laughed. A sharp, breathless laugh filled with disbelief and excitement. Ask for something too, she begged. Vero, just ask. Before someone sees us. Vero's heart was pounding, but curiosity flickered dangerously. What harm could one wish do? Just one? Her voice came out shaky. I want money. Real money. The river rippled again. Bundles of clean, crisp notes appeared beside the bangles. Vero gasped so hard she choked. Ah, she cried. My tongue. Blinky, look. They both fell to their knees, touching, counting, staring. Their laughter echoed across the empty riverbank. They didn't even notice the fish speaking again, its voice faint and tired. You have taken your wishes. Now, return me. Vero swallowed hard. She looked at the fish, small, weak, barely glowing now. Guilt pricked her heart. Come, Blinky. Let's put it back. They rolled the fish gently into the water. For a moment, the river brightened, then returned to stillness. Blinky's heart raced with excitement. Vero's heart raced with fear. And above them, the trees swayed slightly, not with the wind, but with warning. Because what the girls didn't know was that no spirit gives freely. No river forgets a trespass. And no greed goes unpunished. Blinky and Vero hurried away from the river as fast as their feet could carry them, pots clinking against their legs, hearts pounding so loudly it felt like drums inside their chests. Every rustle in the bushes felt like a spirit watching. Every distant bird call felt like a warning. Don't look back, Vero whispered. I'm not, Blinky replied, though her voice trembled a little. Both of them walked faster. When they reached the curve of the narrow footpath, out of sight of the river, Blinky suddenly burst into laughter, breathless, almost hysterical. Vero, do you understand what just happened? We are rich. Rich, she shouted, spinning around like someone celebrating market day. Vero didn't share her excitement. Not fully. She kept glancing over her shoulder, gripping the money tight in her hand. Blinky, this is not normal. Money should not appear from air. Gold should not glow. Fish should not talk. We have to be careful. But Blinky shook her head, grinning from ear to ear. Careful. Vero, the river blessed us. Not cursed us. Blessed. It said every 7 days. Do you know what that means? It means we shouldn't go back, Vero muttered. But Blinky continued as if she hadn't heard. It means we can change our lives. Leave this village one day. Eat what we want. Buy what we want. No more hunger. No more chores. No more struggling. Vero hesitated. That part was tempting. She remembered her mother's cracked hands, her tired eyes, the way she worked from morning till night. If she could make life easier for her, even a little, wasn't that worth it? Still, something about the river felt heavy on her spirit. Blinky, she whispered, what if we ask for too much? Blinky stopped walking. For a moment, her face softened, serious, thoughtful. Then she shrugged. We'll be smart about it. Not too loud. Not too showy. No one will know. And the river? The goddess? Vero asked. Blinky waved her hand like she was brushing away a fly. She won't mind. She said she will reward us. That means she chose us. Vero didn't argue. Maybe she didn't want to. Maybe some part of her liked feeling chosen too. By the time they reached Vero's house, both girls were flushed with excitement, fear, and a strange, guilty joy. They slipped behind her mother's hut, lifting the lid of a huge clay pot used to store dried yams. "This will do," Blinky whispered. They dropped the gold and the money inside, the sound echoing hollowly, like secrets landing in a deep well. Then they covered the pot again. Both girls stood there in silence, staring at the hidden treasure. It didn't feel real. It felt like a dream they weren't supposed to touch. Vero finally exhaled. "What next?" "We wait until tomorrow," Blinky said. "Then we sell the jewelry in a far village. And if someone asks where we got the money, we'll lie," Blinky said easily. "We helped a lost traveler." Simple. Vero frowned. "And what if?" But Blinky grabbed both her hands, squeezing them tight. "Vero, nothing bad is going to happen. Think about it." The fish offered. "We didn't steal." They both looked at each other. Neither of them realized how wrong that sentence was. Because in Udall, the elders didn't warn children for fun. They didn't tell stories just to scare them. Every tale carried truth. And the truth was simple. The river never gives without taking something in return. Yet that didn't matter today. Today, the girls walked home lighter, happier, almost glowing themselves. But as the sun began sinking behind the tall palm trees, something strange happened back at the river. The water rippled, even though there was no wind. Two faint shapes shimmered on its surface. Two faces. Young like the girls, but sad. Watching. And if anyone had been standing close enough, they would have heard the softest whisper rise from the depths. Every seventh day. Every seventh day. A promise. A warning. A countdown. The next morning, Udall woke the way it always did, with roosters crowing like noisy chiefs and women shouting instructions at sleepy children. The village felt normal, peaceful. But two girls were anything but normal that day. Blinky arrived at Vero's compound before sunrise, wearing a wrapper she had tied so tightly she could barely breathe. Her eyes were wide with excitement, sparkling like someone who had just seen the future. "Vero," she hissed, knocking on the wall instead of the door. "Wake up. Wake up." Vero stumbled outside, still half asleep. "What is it now? Did the fish follow you home?" "No," Blinky whispered loudly. "Today is the day we sell the gold." Vero's sleep vanished instantly. They slipped behind the hut, lifted the clay pot slowly, and stared at the treasure hidden inside. Even in the weak morning light, the gold gleamed like something that didn't belong to the human world. Vero touched it with hesitation. "Are we really doing this?" Blinky didn't hesitate at all. "Yes. Before someone else finds it. Before the river changes its mind." The girls wrapped the bangles in cloth, tied them tightly, and hid the bundle under Blinky's wrapper. They looked around once, checking if anyone was watching, then slipped away from the village, heading toward the neighboring market across the forest path. The walk was long, but their minds were filled with only one thing: money, freedom, a life bigger than Udall. When they reached the market, they found a trader known for buying jewelry, a man with sharp eyes and sharper instincts. He lifted the bangles, examined them under sunlight, then exhaled softly. "Where did two small girls find gold like this?" Blinky smiled confidently. "A traveler rewarded us for helping him." The man raised a brow, clearly not convinced. But gold was gold. He paid them more money than either girl had ever held. The notes felt crisp, powerful, dangerous in their hands. As they walked away, Vero's steps became unsteady. "Blinky, this is too much," she whispered. "What if someone asks? What if our mothers find out? What if—" "Vero," Blinky cut in, "look around." She held the money high, letting the sun hit it. "With this, we can eat, buy new clothes, live better. Isn't that what we always wished for?" Vero hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Better. Yes. They deserved better." When they returned home, both girls hid the money in separate places. They agreed on a plan, a secret pact whispered between them like a vow. No bragging. No telling. No showing off. We use it slowly, quietly, carefully. And for a while, they kept that promise. That afternoon, Vero bought 2 meat pies from a traveling vendor, something she hadn't eaten in months. Blinky bought roasted yam for herself and her mother. They acted normal, but inside they were flying. By evening, their mothers noticed how unusually calm and cheerful they looked. And when Blinky helped her mother wash plates without complaining, something she hadn't done since she could walk, the woman narrowed her eyes. Blinky, what did you do wrong? Nothing, Mama, Blinky said, smiling too hard. Vero's mother asked her daughter the same question later that night. The girls gave the same rehearsed answer. We met a kind stranger who rewarded us. And surprisingly, their mothers believed them. Good deeds bring blessings. That was a belief stronger than suspicion in Udall. The girls fell asleep that night with full stomachs, full pockets, and hearts buzzing with excitement. But as the moon rose, something else stirred. Down at the Forbidden River, the surface rippled in slow, deliberate circles. A dim blue glow flickered beneath the water, fading, then brightening, then fading again. And if anyone had been close enough, standing barefoot at the riverbank, they would have heard a whisper floating just above the water. The river remembers. The river waits. The night grew colder. The countdown to the next 7th day had already begun. The next Sunday arrived quietly in Udall, the way secrets often return, soft-footed, unnoticed, but heavy with meaning. Roosters crowed, women wrapped their heads for church, and the village moved with its usual rhythm. But Blinky and Vero weren't thinking about church, or chores, or anything ordinary. Their minds were fixed on one thing. The river. Not the warning. Not the fear. Only the reward. They met behind Vero's hut, eyes bright with the thrill only a secret can give. Blinky pressed her palms together, almost shaking with anticipation. "Are you ready?" she whispered. Vero wasn't sure she was. But greed has a way of blurring hesitation, especially when the first reward tasted so sweet. "I'm ready," she finally said. Their footsteps were lighter this time. No guilt, no trembling, none of the fear that bent their backs the first day they disobeyed. They walked like girls who believed the river belonged to them now. Like chosen ones. On the way, Vero tried to ask a question that had been sitting on her chest all week. "Blinky, do you think the fish suffers when we call it? I mean, it answers everything we ask. Isn't that strange?" Blinky shrugged without slowing down. "Strange but useful. Vero, think about it. The goddess is generous. She gave us gifts for helping her. We didn't steal anything." But even she paused at that last sentence. Because deep inside, they both knew. They didn't just help the fish. They demanded. They took. They benefited. Still, they said nothing more and continued toward the river. The forest greeted them with a cool shade as they stepped through the tall palm trees. The air felt thicker today, heavier, like it was holding its breath. Yet Blinky stepped forward boldly. When they reached the riverbank, the stream was still. Not flowing. Not singing. Just watching. "Call her," Blinky whispered. "You call," Vero replied. But Blinky didn't waste time. She knelt near the water and tapped it lightly. "We helped you," she whispered. "Now it is your turn again." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the water shivered. A faint glow rose from below. Slowly, gently, the fish emerged. Weaker than last time, its light softer, but still enchanting. Its voice was barely audible. "What do you desire this time?" Vero's breath caught. Hearing the fish speak again sent chills racing down her spine. Blinky didn't hesitate. She leaned forward boldly, like she was talking to a servant. "I want food. Plenty of it. Meat, rice, fruits, everything good." The fish blinked once, and suddenly a basket appeared beside them. A full one, packed with fresh food that smelled richer than anything Udall could ever grow. Vero gasped. "Blinky. How?" But before she could finish, Blinky nudged her. Your turn. Don't waste time. Vero's heart pounded. She closed her eyes. I want to pass my exams, she whispered. All of them. The fish's glow brightened slightly. So it shall be. The water rippled. A soft breeze brushed Vero's face. She didn't see anything appear, but somehow she felt her wish had already been written somewhere in the spirit world. The girls giggled like children who had just stolen sugar and gotten away with it. The fish moved weakly. You have taken your desires. Return me. This time, it sounded tired, almost pained. Vero hesitated. Blinky. I think. But Blinky pushed the fish back into the river before she could finish. There. Done. Let's go. And so the cycle began, every 7 days, crawling back to the river with hearts full of desire and hands empty with expectation. At first, their wishes were small. A little money. A little food. A little comfort. But each blessing made them hungrier for the next. By the 3rd Sunday, Blinky wanted Kenna, the handsome boy who chopped firewood, to fall in love with her. The next day, he did. He arrived at her mother's stall smiling shyly, buying vegetables he didn't need. By the 4th Sunday, Vero wished to never sweep her compound again. The next morning, the yard was perfectly clean before sunrise. On the 5th Sunday, Blinky wished for her mother to believe she was hard-working. The next day, the woman hugged her happily for changing. Every wish came true. Every one. But something else changed too. The fish grew dimmer. Its glow faded a little more each week. Its voice cracked like someone losing strength. Vero noticed first. Blinky. Don't you think she's getting weaker? Blinky waved her hand dismissively. She's a goddess. She can't be weak. But the truth settled in Vero's stomach like a stone. The fish wasn't glowing anymore. It was flickering. And stranger things began happening. Once, when they arrived, the river refused to ripple. The fish didn't rise until they called 3 times, each call more desperate than the last. Another time, the air around the river felt cold, icy cold, even though the sun was hot. Then one Sunday, while Blinky was bragging about her new phone, Vero noticed something terrifying. The fish didn't blink anymore. Its eyes stayed open, too open, like they were stuck. Vero nudged Blinky. Blinky, something is wrong. She's sick. Sick. Blinky laughed. Spirits don't get sick. You worry too much. But Vero saw the truth. The fish was dying. And the river was growing stiller every week, like it was watching, waiting, expecting something terrible. Yet greed is louder than warning. Ambition is louder than fear. And so, instead of letting the fish rest, the girls grew even more reckless. One afternoon, Blinky came up with an idea that would change everything. Vero, she whispered excitedly, why do we keep going to the river? What if someone catches us? Vero frowned. Where else do we go? Blinky smiled, a dangerous smile. We bring the fish home. Vero gasped so loudly she choked. Home? Are you mad? The elders said. I know what they said, Blinky snapped. But think about it. If the fish is with us, we won't have to wait 7 days. We won't have to sneak anywhere. We can ask for anything, anytime. Vero felt her heart drop. That wasn't a wish. That was greed wearing a crown. Blinky. No spirit should be taken from its home. It isn't right. Blinky leaned close, whispering sharply. Vero, do you want to be poor forever? Do you want to struggle until your back bends like your mother's? This fish is our future. And slowly, painfully, Vero swallowed her fear. Because the truth was simple. She wanted more too. More money. More freedom. More life. So they agreed. That Sunday afternoon, Blinky hid a woven bag under her wrapper and returned to the river with a plan sharper than a knife. As the fish rose weakly from the water, Blinky moved fast, too fast, and scooped it into the bag. The fish struggled desperately. The river churned. The wind howled. Vero wanted to run. Her legs trembled. Her heart screamed. Put it back. Put it back. But Blinky held tight. They ran home with the bag shaking against Blinky's hip, the fish thumping like a dying heartbeat. And this time, the river had been robbed. The night after Blinky and Vero dragged the glowing fish home, Udall changed in small, unsettling ways. The wind that normally rushed through the palm trees grew faint, like it was afraid to move. Dogs refused to sleep outside. Even the goats bleated restlessly in their pens, pacing like they sensed a stranger among them. But the girls didn't notice any of that. They were too busy whispering excitedly behind Blinky's hut, where they had placed the fish in an old clay pot filled halfway with water. At first, the water glowed softly, just like the river. The fish floated weakly, its silver-blue scales flickering like dying candlelight. Blinky crouched beside the pot, smiling triumphantly. "There," she whispered. "Now she belongs to us." Vero shivered. The fish's glow was a shadow of what it used to be at the river. Its breaths were thin, uneven, like it was struggling for air. "Blinky, she doesn't look well," Vero murmured. "Because she's adjusting," Blinky said quickly. "She'll be fine. Spirits don't die." But she avoided looking at the fish for too long. Something about its dimming light made her uneasy. They covered the pot with leaves and returned inside before their mothers started asking questions. The next morning, Vero woke up to a strange sight. Her entire compound was swept. Every plate washed. Firewood neatly stacked. All the chores she hated, gone. Blinky ran into the compound moments later, breathless with excitement. "It worked. Even here. We didn't even ask," she shouted. It was true. The spirit, weak or not, had granted their usual lazy girl wish. But while the chores were magically done, the air around Blinky's house felt heavy. The leaves near the fish pot were drying out. Even the insects avoided the back corner of the yard. Vero felt the dread creeping slowly into her bones. "We need to return her," Vero whispered that afternoon. "She's not glowing like before. We can't keep her here." But Blinky glared at her. "Return her where? To the river? And what if someone sees us? What if the goddess gets angry for taking her in the first place? We're safer if she remains with us." Vero didn't argue, but her heart twisted painfully. Days passed. Then weeks. The fish's glow faded more. Her voice disappeared completely. She floated near the top of the pot like something suspended between life and death. Meanwhile, the blessings grew irregular. Sometimes wishes came true. Sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they backfired. One morning, Blinky wished silently for Kenna to bring her roasted corn. He did, arriving breathless, sweating, carrying not 1 but 20 corn cobs. His eyes looked dazed, empty, like someone under a spell too strong for his mind. Another day, Vero wished for money, and found a torn bag of old dirty notes scattered outside her door, as if thrown by invisible hands. The magic was twisting, breaking, dying. And the girls continued pretending everything was fine, even though the weight of their secret grew heavier each day. Then, exactly 7 weeks after they stole the fish, the curse woke up. It began early in the morning. A scream. Vero's. Her mother ran into her room to find her writhing on the floor, clutching her stomach, crying in agony. Across the village, Blinky screamed at the same moment, twisting like she was being cut open from the inside. Their mothers shouted for help. Neighbors gathered. No one understood what was happening. The girls vomited water, thick, muddy water that smelled like river sand. Their skin burned with fever. Every time they tried to drink, the water scorched their throats like boiling oil. "Blinky, what did you eat?" her mother sobbed, rubbing her back. But Blinky only cried louder. "I don't know. I don't know." Vero screamed until her voice cracked. "Mama, my stomach. It's burning." The elders arrived. The herbalist arrived. Even the pastor arrived. Herbs failed. Prayers failed. Nothing eased the pain. The girls couldn't bathe. Touching water caused agonizing rashes. They couldn't eat anything cooked with water. Their lips cracked from thirst. Their bodies weakened. The entire village buzzed with confusion and fear. Is it poison? Is it witchcraft? Did someone curse them? No one suspected the truth. But the river knew. And something dark was moving beneath its surface. On the third day, the girls were taken to the town hospital. Doctors checked blood, organs, everything. The results came back clean. Too clean. There is nothing medically wrong, the doctor said quietly. Whatever this is, it is not physical. The mothers grew desperate. They sold jewelry, wrappers, goats, anything worth money, seeking help anywhere they could. But nothing worked. And every night, as the girls screamed into their pillows, the river remained hauntingly still, the moon reflecting on its surface like a silver eye watching everything. Vero, half conscious from pain, whispered one night to her mother, "Mama, we did something we shouldn't have." But before she could confess, another sharp wave of pain stabbed through her body and she fainted. Her mother held her and wept like the world was collapsing. On the sixth day, when all hope seemed lost, a neighbor whispered a name that made everyone freeze. The native doctor of a Bono forest. People feared him. But desperate mothers fear nothing. Not spirits, not forest shadows, not ancient warnings, when their children are dying. They went to the shrine carrying palm oil, white cloth, cola nuts, and trembling hearts. The moment the women stepped inside, the old native doctor shot up from his stool, eyes white and wild. "Abomination!" he cried, slamming his staff on the ground. "You have brought abomination." The mothers fell to their knees, begging, "What happened to our daughters? What have they done?" His voice trembled. "They have taken the river's guardian. They have trapped the spirit of the water in a clay pot. They have offended the goddess." The room spun. The women screamed. The truth hit them harder than thunder. "What must we do?" they cried. "Please, save our children." The native doctor closed his eyes. "There is only one path. On the seventh day, your daughters must confess before the whole village. Then they must return the spirit to the river. Only the goddess will decide their fate." Back in Udall, the river was no longer still. It churned silently under the moonlight, forming ripples shaped like faces. Watching. Waiting. The air thickened with unseen anger. Birds refused to fly over it. Even the wind avoided the riverbank. The curse was awake now. And the seventh day was only a few hours away. The seventh day rose slowly over Udall, the sky painted in pale orange and bleeding gold across the horizon. But there was no peace in the air. No birds singing. No goats bleating. Not even the usual market chatter. A strange quietness swallowed the village whole, the kind that comes before something ancient wakes up. Everyone knew today was not ordinary. Blinky and Vero lay on their mats, weak like wilted leaves. Their eyes were sunken, their lips cracked, and their breaths shallow. They could barely lift their heads. Pain clung to their bodies like a shadow made of fire. Their mothers knelt beside them, tears streaming non-stop. "Hold on," Vero's mother whispered, brushing her daughter's forehead. "Just hold on until we reach the river." Blinky's mother clutched her daughter's hands, whispering prayers between sobs. "My child, whatever wrong you did, confess everything. Do not hide anything today. The spirits see where humans cannot." By mid-morning, the entire village had gathered, elders, children, men, women, all walking silently toward the forbidden river. They carried the girls on woven mats, each mother holding tightly to a corner as if refusing to let death steal their daughters away. Behind them, the native doctor led the procession, staff raised high, cowrie beads rattling with each step. His face was painted white, his eyes distant, as if he was seeing beyond the world of the living. The forest path felt different today, heavier, colder. Even the trees leaned inward, as though curious about the human trespass that had awakened a sacred wrath. When they reached the riverbank, a collective gasp rose from the crowd. The river was not flowing. It stood still, frozen, reflective, like a sheet of glass hiding a storm beneath it. And deep under the surface, a faint blue glow pulsed like a heartbeat. The native doctor turned to the crowd. "Let the truth be spoken," he commanded. Two men stepped forward and lifted Blinky and Vero to a sitting position. The girls cried out in pain, their bodies trembling with every breath. The mothers held their hands tightly. "Speak," they whispered. "Tell them everything." Vero's lips shook. "Mama, we went to the river, on a Sunday." The crowd gasped. Blinky swallowed hard, tears streaming down her face. We saw a fish, glowing, talking." The elders exchanged horrified looks. Vero continued through choked sobs. "She gave us blessings. Money. Food. Everything we asked for. And we kept going back," Blinky cried. "Every 7 days. It was quiet. Too quiet." Then the hardest truth struggled out of Vero's trembling mouth. We took her. We stole her from the river. We kept her. In a pot." A roar of shock burst through the crowd. The elders stepped back like lightning had struck their feet. "You captured the river's guardian," one shouted. Blinky and Vero broke down completely, sobbing uncontrollably. "We were greedy. We didn't want to die." The native doctor raised his staff, and the river's still surface trembled. "Bring the pot," he commanded. Two young men ran to Blinky's house and returned minutes later, carrying the old clay pot wrapped in leaves. The moment it touched the ground, the air grew colder. People stepped back. The native doctor knelt, removed the leaves, and stared inside. The fish lay motionless, dim, colorless, barely breathing. A murmur of fear spread through the villagers. Had the guardian spirit died? What punishment awaited the village if it had? The native doctor lifted the pot with both hands, his voice trembling with urgency. "We must return her. Now." The mothers helped him carry it to the edge of the river. Their hands shook violently, but they didn't stop. Not when their daughters' lives hung between forgiveness and death. The native doctor began chanting in a deep rhythmic tone, words older than Udall, older than the river, older than the spirits themselves. The river responded. Softly at first. Then louder. Ripples formed on the frozen-looking surface. Light glowed beneath it. The air vibrated like invisible drums beating from the underworld. "Pour," the native doctor commanded. The mothers tilted the pot. The dying fish slid into the river. The water hissed, actually hissed, like fire meeting cold stone. A blinding blue glow burst upward, covering the riverbank in shimmering waves of light. People shielded their eyes. Children screamed. Elders fell to their knees. Then, the fish rose out of the water. Alive. Glowing brighter than ever. Larger. Stronger. Beautiful in a way that made humans feel small. The crowd gasped as the guardian spirit floated before them. Its tail splashed gently, and the river glowed like moonlight poured into liquid. Blinky and Vero coughed loudly. Their mothers spun around, crying. The girls' eyes opened. Color returned to their cheeks. Their breathing steadied. Life seeped back into their bodies as if drawn from the river's light. "Mama," Vero whispered. "I'm alive." Blinky sobbed into her mother's arms. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." But before joy could settle, the native doctor raised a shaking hand. "Listen," he said hoarsely. The river spirit turned to the girls, its voice echoing like water flowing through caves. "You took from me. You trapped me. You used greed to command what is sacred." The girls bowed their heads, trembling. "But you returned me," the spirit continued. "And because you confessed, you are forgiven." Relief swept through the crowd. But the spirit wasn't done. A cold wind swept across the riverbank. The water darkened. Yet forgiveness, it said, does not erase consequences. The mothers froze. The elders held their breath. The spirit's voice deepened, filled with ancient weight. From this day, you and your descendants will serve the river. Every 7 days, you will come to honor me. And in each generation, one child from your bloodline will stand as guardian of the river, forever. The girls gasped. Their mothers collapsed into the sand, crying. The curse was lifted. But the mark remained. A price they would pay for a lifetime. A price their children would inherit. The fish dipped beneath the water. The glow faded. The river calmed. A soft whisper drifted across the surface. The river forgives. But it never forgets. And from that day on quiet Sunday mornings, villagers claimed they could hear 2 faint voices under the water, singing the same chant the girls once whispered. We helped you. Now it's your turn. The river kept its promise. And so did they.